Hello, welcome to Eve's Kitchen Garden. This is my channel to log what I've grown, my successes, my failures, and everything I've done in the garden. I have quite a large garden. This is my plastic greenhouse. These are the tomatoes and peppers, I think, in the spring. I've planted runner beans up my fence. I ran some old washing line and I tacked it to the fence and I grew the beans up the washing line. I also pinned some mesh, just garden mesh, onto the fence, and they grew up those, and I had a really good harvest this year, actually. It was very good. This is an apple tree that I planted this year. It is quite good. It's healthy. It's grown really well. Lots of leaves. It had a little bit of leaf miners, and I had to keep picking the leaves off. This is Petit Pois. I grew just up a net that I staked in with bamboos. I had quite a good crop from that. In a raised bed. This is some raspberry plants, a couple of raspberry plants I had. We got exactly one raspberry this year, so hopefully next year we'll get a few more, hopefully. I also have a pear tree. I can't remember what type of pear it is, or the apples, I'm afraid, but it's growing really well. Nice and healthy, lots of leaves. This is my plum tree. This is Victoria plum tree, and when it came, it just looked like a dead stick. So I was a bit worried that it was dead, and I scraped the bark, and it was green underneath. So I let it be, and when the weather warmed up, we got some leaves. So that was really good. I also got some strawberries, which I planted in this plastic box, which was a Tesco delivery box that I lined with an old compost bag, and they grew really well. We got quite a few strawberries, even though they were planted really late, actually. But they've grown lots of runners, so I need to sort those out for the spring. Get those going. This is my oregano. I've grown it for a few years. This is my favourite herb. I love it. I put it in everything, and the flowers are just so beautiful. This is summer squash that I planted in 30-litre pots. You can see the potatoes next to it as well, which I also planted in 30-litre pots along the fence. This is the sunniest side of the garden. They grew really well, really productive, just as productive, almost as productive as the ones that I grew in raised beds. And they were really tasty. And here's more oregano flowers. I love oregano flowers. This was my first little harvest of runner beans and summer squash, and I was so chuffed, and I just think that looks like a Renaissance painting. These are the runner beans that I grew up the fence. I'm going to cut those back to about 6 inches, mulch them, and hopefully they'll come back next spring and grow again. I got this idea from Liz Zorab on the By the Farm channel. She's really good, and that's what she does with her runner beans. So because they're sheltered by the fence, hopefully that will work. These are my beautiful sunflowers, which I grew from seeds that were, I think they were about 20p. They were reduced in our local Tesco Express, and they grew beautifully and attracted lots and lots of bees and pollinators, so they were brilliant. This is Swiss chard, Bright Lights, which is the first time I've grown it. Really tasty, really delicious. It didn't grow very well, but as the weather cooled off, it's still growing now in the garden, and it seems to have picked up a bit. This is the summer squash that I grew in the raised bed. This was in the bed with the Petit Pois as well. There's 3 summer squash plants, and they were so prolific. I mean, squash and courgettes, they just want to grow, don't they? Every day you go out, there's more. These ones, the Petit Pan, I sliced up and I fried them in like a southern chicken, like a southern fried breadcrumb, and they were really delicious. These are some tomatoes that we grew, cherry tomatoes. Grew lots of tomatoes. They didn't all ripen at the same time, so what I did was put them in a Ziploc bag as they ripened and put them in the freezer. So as you can see, I had a massive bag of tomatoes, and there's some chopped runners and some grated courgette and summer squash, which they can just be thrown in soups and stews and all sorts, And I made a big Italian sauce with my tomatoes, and I froze that. So we've got lovely fresh Italian sauce with my fresh oregano and my fresh tomato. Really lovely. This is the first pot of potatoes that I was looking at. I'm late getting them out of the ground. It's been really rainy. They've gone a little bit scabby, just a little bit, not too bad. Really nice potatoes, Sarpo Miras. They grow really well. They're blight resistant. The only issue we've had, because it's been so dry this year, I haven't got the same size potatoes I usually have. Even though I was watering and watering and watering, this year it was impossible to keep up with the watering, really, I think. So got about £5 of potatoes out of that one. As you can see, there's a few more. So £5 out of each one. I don't think that's a bad harvest. These are the runners. These are the strawberries that I need to sort out and get those planted up. These are the peppers. This is a new bed that I've built, and it's got onion sets in there to grow Japanese onions overwintering. Zinnias and marigolds in with my raspberries. This is the bed that had the summer squash in and the petit pois. This now has garlic and onions, more of those Japanese onions. That's what it looks like now. They've really taken off. So they're growing really well, really chuffed with that. This is the second pot of potatoes. There's a little snail there. I'm getting rid of him. We're having these for dinner tonight, so they're really nice potatoes. They make great mash.
I'll come in.
Really nice roast potatoes. I'm getting rid of all the foliage there, cutting that off. That goes straight in the compost. That's the brilliant thing about gardening. Nothing goes to waste. It all gets recycled. So emptying this out. There's lots of worms and lots of potatoes. There was these ones were pretty good. There was a few scabby ones. I'm trying to show you a worm here, but I wasn't in front of the camera. There was quite a few big fat earthworms, so the soil was good. I didn't put any perlite or anything in it, and I think that might have helped, because when I grew them before, I did, and I got bigger potatoes. But again, with the watering and everything, maybe that would have made them even drier. But I got a few good sized potatoes. I'm hoping to keep some for seed potatoes for next year, so I can chip my own seed potatoes and have my own supply and keep doing that. Another big fat earthworm. I also hope to do that with my garlic as well. That's a seed potato. Keep my garlic, a few of my garlic cloves back for seeds for the following year. And that's it. That's the goal, isn't it? To, where you can, to produce your own seeds and be able to grow from your own seeds every year that you saved from the previous year. So, these potatoes, there's a couple of scabby ones. They're coming out late, and it's been very wet recently. And they went in late May, I think. I was very late planting everything this year. However, I did manage to get quite a good harvest, all things considered. I didn't do bad. But I'm hoping to get ahead. I always say this every year. I hope to get ahead next year, but a head start on things, but we'll see how that goes. And here we have them all cleaned up and nice and ready. As you can see, look, there's a few scabby ones, but they'll peel, they'll cook well. I'm just going to use them for mashed potatoes, so they're going to be peeled anyway. So really chuffed with that. If I've got a few more, just under £5.5, you can see. And if that's what I get out of every pot, I'll be happy. that's really good yield. This is also a perfect dahlia which I grew, which is very difficult because my garden's full of slugs and snails and they munch those dahlias. So I was really proud of this and I thought it was just beautiful. So, and that's the thing about the garden, it's to be appreciated. Thanks for watching. See you next time.